Hi, welcome to the Pursuit of Truth. I was just going through the comments Eye Level Awakening left on the video previous to this, to the People of Truth. It was interesting. I haven't managed to watch all of it yet because one of the YouTube restreams is very long. But my problem with watching that is it's a bit like watching TV. He's the way he speaks. I don't know. It put me off a little bit because it reminded me of Joe Rogan and stuff like that. And I don't know whether I trust their sincerity by the way that they're presenting it, but I'll bear it out. But I don't know if it was the same guy in the BitChute video. That one was more interesting because it actually provided some evidence, which is the bit that's always missing when it comes to the media, when it comes to YouTube. And the most important part for finding the truth of a matter is some form of offering up of evidence. Whether that can be trusted or not is another thing, because obviously anyone with confirmation bias and who wants to lie can put up any old evidence and make it look real. And the problem is how do we know again what's true and what's not? But it was interesting because I heard on Sky News yesterday they were talking about this idea that this was a bit of a setup, that the storming of the Capitol building, the Senate building, that maybe it was members of Antifa or Black Lives Matter, because the days before they were talking about how this is not usually Republicans, not usually known for their violence and their rioting, etc. It's more usually the left, the Democrat side that's known for that, as in the riots that happened, or protests, I guess they were called previously. But the problem is with all these protests, you're always going to get the element of people who just want to fight. And I guess it's a good place also for government agents, whether Antifa is one of them or not, to infiltrate these types of things. We know that happens all the time. It happened in lots of these movements. And it's a way of swaying things and taking control of them in an easier way than shutting them down. You use them. So there's a suggestion on Sky News, and the newsreader sort of poo-pooed it and sort of said, oh, well, no, it's not like that. But the thing they didn't offer up is because I think it was someone they were talking to was saying it, they didn't actually investigate it. And this is the most annoying thing when it comes to the media, is that the fact that when someone gives them an opposite to what the government or someone in state is giving them, they won't even bother to investigate it. They just believe that that's the truth. I mean, we all know what happened to weapons of mass destruction, and it was people like Channel 4, and I don't know, in America, they actually did investigate these things, and they were a bit more anti the war and trying to bring out the truth that there were no weapons of mass destruction, whereas people maybe more like the BBC were just, yeah, it's true, we trust Blair, why would he lie, blah, blah, blah. If you're a journalist and if you're a media outlet, investigating is the most important thing. And if you stop doing that, well, what's the point of us watching it? Because how do we then get the truth? Because that's an easy way for us to, we just believe what the presenter says. He says it's not real, so it's not real. And most people will believe that way. Until, say, you watch this BitChute video that Eye Level Awakening is showing, where they've actually bothered to take a picture of someone who claims to have been, was inside the building. Now, whether he was a Republican or whether he was... Then this is the problem as well, also. We've got a picture of him holding up one of the podiums, smiling for the cameras. It seems a bit of a strange thing to do if you're taking an illegal action. And then you've got, I assume it's a picture from a Black Lives Matter protest, or some kind of Democrat protest. Unfortunately, the problem is I can't validate them because it's two pictures of the same guy. It looks like the same guy. And I suppose it depends what the picture is pertaining to show. But if it is showing that here he is at this movement and here he is at another one, then you've got to ask, is he part of the movement? Or is he an agitator? Is he someone that's set out to do these things? Whether this is government backed or whether this is those types of people that like to get involved in these things, but want to have a fight, that want to cause chaos and anarchy. So yeah, the real problem is investigation. And the problem is we look to our media to do that, and they often don't do it when it's something that they don't really want to look at, especially if it's something that's going to expose the government and make out, it's not going to be like Frost and Nixon. Those types of journalists are rare, the ones that will actually deep down and try and find the truth, the real truth. So most people will look at the media, and if he says, "Oh no, that didn't happen," well, then we'll all say it didn't happen. So this idea of whether this election was genuine or not, because obviously we know the problem is with Trump is he doesn't help himself, because he's known to be a bit of a fantasist, the way things that he's said, the way that he's acted. But what if he's right? What if it is true? What if it is a stolen election? But the problem is we've only got his word for it, because he hasn't offered up any evidence, and Rudy Giuliani hasn't offered up any evidence. There was evidence shown or maybe it has been, but it hasn't been broadcast in the UK. Just accusations, people saying things, and that's not enough. We need to see how do you prove? Because all we hear is that when the government has gone through the evidence, they've decided that no, that's not proof. But of course, if it is a government-led coup to get rid of Trump, but I don't see what would. Well, I mean, there's many reasons to get rid of him, but there's a lot easier ways to do it, I would have thought. But I don't know. But Biden obviously has a lot of friends because he's been there for a long time. I mean, these things are all possible. But I think they're all still a bit of a distraction, because the real problem is it doesn't matter who you get in, whether it's Trump, whether it's Biden. The system is the problem. And this is just a distraction. We want to get rid of this system, whoever it is. A system that actually looks after each individual, that cares for the low and the high, or that doesn't actually have that scale. So this is just another distraction. It's another, make us fight each other. People who follow Trump, the Democrat, Republic, people who follow this idea, left and right, just to fight us each other so that we don't see the real truth. The real truth is that people are suffering all the time, and we don't need to, because we actually have control of this whole world ourselves, because we were born into it, and it's all of ours, and it never should have been cut up and made into territories, and you own this and you own that, because you own nothing. When you're dead, you take nothing with you, as John Lennon said. So yeah. Anyway, it's interesting. Take care, take it easy, God bless, and peace.